All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. Today we have a very special guest, Michaela. Those of you, you may know Michaela from Getting Your Deals Done and Getting You Paid. Michaela is our administrative, she's the queen of administrative stuff. She does all of our compliance and gets you guys paid. So Michaela is going to help you guys with any questions you might have about Paperless Pipeline. She's not going to take you through the entire thing of how to do it. There is a help video which she can direct you to. I'm sure she knows exactly how to find that for you guys. And some of the features and stuff that it does. Do you guys have any questions? We're going to start out with questions for Michaela. She doesn't really have an agenda to take you through. This is just for questions. It's a very simple back office system, and it does have help videos, but there are some special things that it can do. Tammy from Orlando with a question.
Let me start us off. No. So I put in for payment recently and I had to put an email address in. So is that something new that changed? Like I noticed the whole format kind of changed a little bit, like they either upgraded it or something.
I can answer that question. Yes. For compliance stuff, we need your client's address. We don't need the other people's, but we need your client's information.
But just their email information.
Email information, any other information that you can give, but yes, definitely a way to contact them.
Okay.
Okay. Emails and phone numbers be good. Another thing I want to address with you guys, and Michaela can show you how to break apart the documents when you guys get them. I know I personally just use Adobe, and I will print something to PDF when I want to get rid of something of so a lot of times when you send things out like a package for someone to sign, it puts all the documents together and it doesn't break them out. The system has a way to break apart documents. A lot of you guys know that, have seen that. What I don't want you guys doing, what you guys do, and you have to be careful about doing, is the audit page for electronic signatures. Don't send out your client's email to the other side. It's bad business to start with, but that is protected. That's why we don't request the other side's information from you. You shouldn't have it. They shouldn't be sending it to you, but please let me know if you don't understand what I'm saying. But your client, let's say you have the buyers, then you should have the buyer's email. You should not send, when the buyers send an offer, you should not send the audit sheet, which is that last sheet on some of your electronic signature packages. They'll have the audit sheet, which will show that Bob Smith at AOL.com signed this document at 10:38 p.m. Right? That 10:38 p.m. is fine to be on the contract or offer or whatever it is, the addendum or whatever it is that you're sending, but do not send the audit sheet that comes with some of these systems. It doesn't come with all of them, but it comes with some of the systems. The last page will be an audit sheet that showed when everybody signed and from what email address. You don't need to be sending that to the other side. So use either the break apart of the paperless pipeline, which Michaela can show you shortly, or use your Adobe print to file, print to PDF, and only print those pages. Do not print that last page that includes that. I don't know if you guys have run into that before, but you should not be sending, they shouldn't be sending it to you. The other side shouldn't be sending you the audit page, and you shouldn't be sending them the audit page because it gives away your client's information. And then someone contacts somebody that they shouldn't, etc. So just be protective of your own client's information. That is your information and our information as a brokerage. It is not the other side's information. Okay. I digress. Go ahead. Any other questions for Michaela? Well, there's going to be a bunch because I have some. Michaela. Okay, thank you, Clarence. Clarence put something in there, free service in there. Michaela, I don't know if everyone sees this, but some documents are unassigned. I know they don't see unreviewed because that's for us, but some documents are unassigned. How does that happen, and how do they avoid that?
So if you see up here where there's the where you can email documents into your transaction, so if agents are sending documents by email, they oftentimes will go into the unassigned tab. So you kind of have to go into unassigned and then assign your documents from there.
Okay, so they only have their unassigned documents.
Yeah, they'll only see their unassigned documents.
I know you and I can see everybody's, which is confusing, but they only have their own. Is it better for them to just upload docs using the upload docs button on there, do you think? Or
I would say it's a little bit faster for them to be reviewed that way, because when they go into unassigned, I don't see them. I have to manually go in here, whereas the unreviewed tab is where I see all documents that have been directly uploaded from Paperless Pipeline. So I would say, yeah, it is better to go in directly and upload documents from there.
Now, whenever if something ends up in unassigned, you have to go in and investigate that document and find out who it belongs to and where it's from and all that stuff, and what transaction it should go to.
Yes and no. If they when they're green here, they're not tied to a transaction. If they're blue, they are tied to a transaction. So then I can quickly go in and
Okay.
just add it here. But yeah, sometimes I have to open up the document and there's some of our agents, as you can see here where it says imported from DocuSign, some of our agents are sending documents, they're like integrated from DocuSign, and they're often uploading them separately. So they're just kind of like extra documents that appear here. I don't often get agents that don't go in and upload them after emailing them to the transaction.
Now, is there any way they can title those to make it more efficient, like where it'll be easier to put them in the right file? So, because what I'm getting at here is this could slow down my CDA being processed or something like that, right? Like if I think my documents are in, but they're not.
Yeah, I would just say for them, the best thing to do is just check the unassigned tab if they know that they sent documents by email, and then just go in and assign those, make sure that they're added to the file.
Okay. Angie in Tampa.
Good morning. Okay, so can you tell me more about the new procedures for Lennar with their e-checks? I sent one to Michaela. She said she'd take care of it, which is great. But what's kind of the procedure when the builders like Lennar are giving us an e-check? What should we be doing with that?
Michaela, maybe you could answer what happened here. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, sure. So there has been a little bit of confusion with the Lennar e-checks. I know that Lennar notifies the agent that there's a broker portal, which I do have one under the sales email. However, those checks for the agents are not going under that portal. So from my understanding, the agents are having to create their own account with Lennar. And then they're just forwarding me the check by email. And then it's just processed the regular way as receiving a paper check.
Okay, so that's what I did. They notified the check was ready. I logged into my portal. The e-check was there, made out to FRI, and I downloaded, I think, the PDF, and then I emailed that to you. So that is the procedure?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or upload it to Paperless Pipeline or no?
For the checks, I would say email is better just to ensure that I receive it quicker.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Then I will keep doing that. And I guess that will make our lives easier. I don't know. They're trying, I guess.
Awesome. I want to cover something else somewhat related to that. Those of you who have done commercial deals have done this usually quite a bit. When your commission is wired to us, first of all, of course, you'll go through Michaela to get the wiring instructions, and then she'll give them directly to the title company or builder or whomever's doing it. But you do have to check on whether or not we received the wire. We don't really get notified of that. The accounting department does. So just follow up on that when you're expecting a wire. Just follow up on it, and we'll be on the lookout for it. Show us a little bit about breaking apart the documents, Michaela, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Let me first add a document in here. Okay. So once you have your uploaded document, I find that a lot of agents, if you have all of your documents in one file, this is super convenient rather than having to. Yeah,
Let's take a little bit for that to process.
So this little gear over here, it actually has a lot of features. And so if you go to break apart, it'll bring you over to this other page. And I know that they've been updating this quite often lately. But let's say you have like all of your addendums all together. You can separate them. So we'll pretend this is lead based and we'll have our 2 pages here. So if you click the cut here, it'll keep these 2 pages together, and you can now label this as a new document.
Okay, so you can name that HOA addendum or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Just to be clear with you guys, we don't mind you putting leave them all together, like if they're all in one big signature package. Please label them like that though. And I can tell you, Michaela might not mind, but sometimes if Michaela's on vacation or something, I have to do this and it drives me bananas. So put as is, comma, HOA, comma, lead-based paint, if that's what's all in there. Please label it that way when you put it in. Otherwise, we're just chasing documents, and then you're going to be the one complaining when you didn't get your thing done that, hey, that was in there, and we got to go find it. So please just label them appropriately when you put them in there. It's I mean, helping everybody out. Yes, Tammy and Orlando.
So I entered a thing in there the other day, and it didn't do the scissor thing, which it had done previously, and it was all blank. And so I waited thinking it would upload, and then I hit the manual button, I think manual mode, but it never did the scissor thing. I just did the old fashioned way that I go back and forth from my dot loop to this to get the order. But so I didn't know. I wonder why it didn't do the scissor thing.
Was that when you had called me? That was a few weeks ago.
No, I think it was even after that. I did another one. Yeah.
Okay. I know that they recently updated this twice. So maybe there was some sort of
day.
Yeah, while they were updating it. Another thing you can do is if you don't recall which page is what, if you zoom in here, you can also break it apart like this and look at each page a little bit closer and then decide where you want to click on the scissors to break apart the document here. And then down here, it will show you the separate pages where you can select each individual label.
What does manual mode do?
So manual mode, it kind of takes you back to the old way where you can select the page ranges individually.
Okay.
Rather than using the scissors to break it apart.
Yeah, the scissors help. You just have to, I think from
Scissors are easy. The scissors are nice.
Yeah, you used to have to remember what pages were what. You know, the HOA addendum is only 2 pages and the other one's 4, right? So, you know, lead-based paint is 2, whatever it is. And so you had to remember that and do it that way. But yeah, just make sure you guys are breaking apart the, there's not one on there, but an audit sheet when we get one. Any other questions on that? Will you show us where the videos are, Michaela, in case we get lost on here? Show us where to find our help videos.
Yeah, so those will always be located in this top right corner here. If you go to Help and Video Learning Center, it will take you to just different subjects that you need assistance on. So you can even search here that we're looking at break apart if you needed more help on that. It'll take you to a video on how to break apart those documents more clearly.
Awesome. Show it again, please.
Okay. So again, you'll go up to Help right here and Help and Video Learning Center. You can select I am an agent. And then it has a list of different areas where you can find out more information. So there's the Agent Quick Start video. That's always sent with the Welcome to Paperless Pipeline email. And then if you need help with documents, how to upload a document, they have a video here as well as step-by-step instructions on how to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Tammy has a question. Michaela, I have a question real quick though. I got this weird email from you that I had started you've started some transaction for me. I I don't know. I was representing a buyer and we got a contract accepted and I don't understand what's happening. Did I not put my paperwork in fast enough?
Yes and no. Um, so just to give you guys a behind the scenes of why you're seeing those emails, I get a daily email from a Stellar MLS with all the new pending transactions, listing, whatnot. So I go into that email and check to see what has already been added from you guys. If I don't see that a transaction has already been added or paperwork already uploaded, just to give you a little bit of a head start, I add the transaction in there for you and just send you an email simply letting you know that this has already been added so that you can begin uploading your documents. We do ask / require that the documents are uploaded within 3 days of their execution. And so if they're not uploaded within that time, that's usually when I send that email out to you.
Wow. So if I don't upload my documents within 3 days, am I liable to be fined or anything?
Yes, you
Okay.
are. There is a list of fines, and that is actually available in the manual.
Handbook. Yeah,
Handbook.
your handbook. Yes. Do we, okay. So I'm not gonna get any further into that. You guys get your paperwork in. Michaela does that to be nice and pleasant and help you guys out, remind you that you need to get your paperwork in. I will remind you what triggers this. Anytime you have a listing, immediately triggers, you get a listing agreement signed, even if it hasn't gone live yet. It doesn't go live for 2 months. But you have a listing agreement signed. That is a document that we are liable for as a brokerage. That is if someone says, I signed a listing agreement with Tammy 2 months ago and the house is almost ready to put on the market, but you know what? Tammy's been this and that, and I think she's unethical, and she goes to the FRAC and we don't have the paperwork, we're all in trouble. Okay. So if someone has signed a document with you to list their house, then yes. If someone has had you fill out 10 offers and they're lowballing houses all over town, do we need those documents? No, not until they have one accepted. If they have one accepted and they back out an hour later, we still need that document for when it was accepted and when it was canceled. Okay. That was an event. Those are the things that trigger us needing paperwork, a listing agreement, an executed contract. Okay. Those are things that list, or any kind of listing, leasing, anything. We need paperwork for that. We are liable for that paperwork if we get audited. Tammy has left the building. Carolina.
I have a question about that. If you have a listing, but it's not ready to be listed, do I have them change the listing date because it's past the listing date? I haven't uploaded it and I'm just not sure if this house is going to be listed. What should I do?
If they sign a listing agreement, we need the paperwork. Yes, modification to listing agreement is a document you will find on Form Simplicity or Transaction Desk, and they do need to modify that or at some point. Now, okay, so guys, this is a business and it's very serious, and all these documents are legal documents and everything else. Okay, so this is important business. You guys make big money when you close one of these deals. It is important business, and everything needs to be documented. So even if the client isn't going to complain, look, I signed a listing agreement with Carolina yesterday. Okay, I told her my house will be ready next week. I got to get it cleaned up, get my brother moved out of here, blah blah blah. Right? I've got a million reasons. None of that stuff happens on time. My brother's place fell through, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put it off. We're going to put it off a couple of weeks, Carolina. Okay, not a problem. Nothing I can do about that. The date that we put on there, I was going to have the photographer come out and we were going to have it ready to go, and we were going to put it on next Wednesday, and we were going to have an open house next Saturday. Can't do that now, right? So now we're putting that off a couple of weeks. So what I'm going to need from you guys is just sign this listing modification form. Okay, that's going to put now I don't have to get it in MLS on a certain date, so I'm not liable for that $2,500 fine or whatever ridiculous fine that is. And now I don't, if I ever get audited on this or we ever have any kind of disagreement, you can't come back and say, well, Carolina did a bad job. She didn't get it on the market the day she was supposed to. No, we modified this listing agreement because your brother couldn't move out, et cetera, right? You guys wanted to replace the flooring. You decided that. You changed your mind on this. You changed your mind on that. So yes, we just do a modification listing agreement. And if it's necessary again in a couple of weeks, which it might be, then we do it again. Okay. So we just get those modifications signed. All right.
it's weird because the MLS didn't tell me this, but I got a notification, maybe because I had it signed through not DocuSign, Sign. It
Okay.
sent me some type of notification. Is this what we're talking about now? Because I've done this before in the past.
I don't think Sign knows what's in MLS. I don't think that's related. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they're prompting you. Transaction desk prompts people for, just reminders and stuff like that for stuff. So I don't know is the answer to that. But regardless,
Okay.
just make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and you won't have a problem. Does that answer your question?
Perfect.
Awesome. Juliana.
Yeah, I have two listings, and it's been on the market for a while now, and the owners decided to rent it. So we have a listing agreement for rental, but we're still renting while we're trying to sell. They don't want to bring the prices down. Do I need to upload those documents for the rental as well?
Yes, do it as a rental and a sale, and you can have it listed as both at the same time, but we need paperwork for both at the same time. And if it sells, obviously you'll cancel the
rent.
Okay, and vice versa, right?
Okay.
Unless they still want to sell it, even if it's rented, that's between you and them. But obviously, if it sells, you can't rent it, so you can't promise to rent it. You can't offer to rent it. But yes, we need the paperwork for that. Anything that you guys have. That guys, anything, I don't care if it is your best friend or your sister or whatever, they can come back and complain about something, and we have to have the paperwork for it. In fact, even if they don't complain about it, we have to have the paperwork for it, particularly if it shows up in MLS. We get audited for everything that shows up in the MLS. When the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations comes and audits us, they have everything that's been in the MLS, and we better be able to account for it with proper paperwork dated the proper way. Okay? And when I say we, that means you too. Everything that you put into Paperless pipeline is stored for, is it 10 years, Michaela? I believe it's 10 years.
I believe 7 years.
7 years. It's stored for 7 years. So when your motherboard gives out on your computer, you'll still have it with us for 7 years, which is all that's more than what's required by law. Tammy, you've been called a few times.
When we put our when it finally closes, do you want us to change it to close? Do you want us to leave it pending and you change it to close?
Great question.
Yes, that is a good question. I actually prefer if you leave it as pending, just because I go in sometimes and search by transaction to see what I've received, either the commission check or the transaction fee on. Sometimes when it's already marked closed, but I haven't yet received the transaction fee, I overlook it. So it's preferred that it's left as it is, whether it's pending or submitted CDA. And then once I receive the settlement statement and check, I will update the status.
Awesome. Those of you who occasionally do more than 3 in a month know that you get your freebies. And those sometimes slip through the cracks because we never get a check for them. And then we don't get the settlement statement. But we know to check for settlement statement. Please just leave it pending. That way, Michaela knows to track down the settlement statement. Anne.
Yes, hi. I have a listing and they say a seller canceled because they want to rent with another broker. Do I need to give them to sign anything or just cancel on MLS?
No, get them to sign the cancel. It didn't expire, it canceled, right? So get them to sign a modification listing agreement canceling it. Or they can just cancel. They can cancel in writing. Guys, people can cancel just in writing. They don't have to use one of our forms, obviously, because then an agent could just refuse to give them a form. It's never let them cancel. So they can cancel in writing. Just make sure that you attach them canceling in writing and just upload it to the document.
I mean, they can just send me an email and say they want to cancel?
Yes.
They text me, they say they want to cancel. Is it enough or they have to email me?
They have to email you. They have to put it in writing. And so email is the best way. And so just tell them, please just email me for my broker.
Oh, okay. So there's no form.
In the document, it says they have to cancel in writing. They can't just,
There's no form that they
there is a form, modification listing agreement, for which you would just say that it canceled. So there's a modification to listing agreement in the forms. That's
Oh,
how
okay.
you change a listing agreement. Anything you want to change on a listing agreement, including when they say, it didn't sell, you had a 3-month listing agreement, didn't sell in those 3 months, but they're happy to go on another 3 months. Modification of listing agreement. Just modify the dates. You don't need a new listing agreement. Just modify the dates. Modification
Mhm.
listing agreement. And don't just leave it going, because if you ever want a commission dispute, that's how you do it. To leave it going and not have it in writing that they wanted to extend it. So get it in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Commission dispute. You bet. Any other questions for Michaela? Michaela, can you think of anything that would be helpful? Daniel in Tampa.
Hello there. I got a question. When you get a contract and you say it shows up from the transactional desk, it shows up on your side there. Any additional ones we sign, let's say for lead and all that, do you get it or we have to send it to you?
Oh, no, Daniel. So I'll go ahead and explain this. MLS triggers that. So let's say I'm the listing agent and you have a buyer and you submit a contract and we accept it. I'm going to mark it pending in MLS, and I'm going to put Daniel Vega with FRI is the selling agent. Okay. That is what notifies Michaela. She's set up on an auto search on MLS where she gets notified every time one of you guys, anybody with our office number, gets a pending listing. So she's going to see that you have my property under contract, and that's when she's going to ask you for forms. We don't see anything else that you guys do. We're not going through transaction desk looking at all your stuff. We don't see anything else. So you need to upload it only when and I want to cover that too, only when it's completely signed by everyone. Otherwise, Michaela ends up looking over preliminary documents all day. So only when it's signed by everyone do we need it. I mean, it's okay to have it if it's not, but only when it's completely signed by everyone is when we need those documents for our file.
So we send it after everybody signs it, we send it to you.
You upload it into your transaction using that little upload docs form on there that she has on there.
Also, we have to unload it there, okay, right?
Yeah, you upload it. Yep, you upload it to your own transaction there.
Anything
then-
additional? Anything additional? Any other contracts that led anything we
It's
signed?
anything that's on the checklist, but also anything else that you want to keep there. You guys can upload anything else. There's even a pull down for not necessary, not required document. There's even a pull down for that. You guys can put whatever you want on there because it stores it for you. It's a tool for you guys as well to put on there whatever you want. Oh gosh, I was going to talk about something else that you just brought up that was important. I don't remember. I don't remember where I was going with that, but yes, do that. So we were talking about it pulling up the stuff that you guys, I'll have to get back to that. That MLS pulls up the stuff that you're on auto search. I don't remember what else we were talking about. Okay, Michaela, can you think of anything else?
Yes, just a couple of things to go along with that. Firstly, yeah, I know some agents, they like to upload their preliminary listing docs. It doesn't really matter which permission category you put things in. However, I do recommend that when you're uploading preliminary listing documents, that you select the preliminary or the permission category listing. I don't know if this is a new feature or if I just now noticed that it's a new feature. Hold on, let me put it up. But when you are the listing agent and your transaction falls through, you can actually select new offer. Let's see.
Oh,
There's a feature that says new offer. So let's say that you had already uploaded an executed contract and whatnot in here, and you want to create a new transaction. Rather than having to go to add new transaction and type everything in all over again, if you select new offer, it will copy your listing information. So if you upload your documents, like your listing agreement, your preliminary documents under the permission category listing, you can create a new offer and it'll copy those documents to the new transaction. So you don't have to re-upload those things. If I've already reviewed those documents and checked them off the checklist, when you create the new offer, it will already have those documents reviewed and checked off as well. So it's just a quicker step than having to
That is brilliant. Thank you. That is new. I didn't know that that existed, and that is great. That keeps you guys from what you've typically been doing, which is just keep putting a million files in here with different. You keep putting a new contract and a new contract when you're the listing agent and something falls through, or some of you have deleted files from there because you're too lazy to go open a new one and do all that stuff. So I would appreciate that. That is wonderful. That new offer feature is fantastic. So thank you for explaining that. I didn't know that. Yeah, show where it's when you go to edit transaction, go scroll back up and show where that's done.
So if you're the listing agent and it's under pretty much anything but closed or dispersed, it will automatically be here. So it's under assigned docs, new offer will be available here. I just went into edit transaction to change the status so that it would be up here. But yeah, it'll always be located on this side over here. And then you can select, if you have notes in the transaction, you can select to copy the notes over as well. And it will.
Now, does that gray out the old escrow receipt and pre-qual and all that stuff?
On the original transaction, no, it doesn't change anything there, but it isn't copied over to the new transaction.
Okay, so it'll leave you blank checks there. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sandy, you have a question?
Yes, can you please go back from the beginning to break out the document, just that step? So do I have to click on the document that I'm breaking up? That part is the one that I missed.
Yeah, sure. So you will click on this little gear on the right of the document here, and then go down to break apart. And then it'll take you over to the new screen.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other questions for Michaela? Oh, that's what I want to do. I want you to go over the CDA in a minute, or how to do it. Yes, Carolina. You're on mute. I don't know if you did that on purpose. Okay, let's do the CDA. Oh, there she is. Wait, okay, go ahead. The CDA, show them how to do a CDA, how to find the reference tab. This is brilliant.
Okay, so the reference tab has essentially all the documents available for you to download. Keep in mind the documents are not fillable. So you would have to upload them into whatever signature platform or fill them out with a wet signature. But we do have all the documents essentially available for you to download. And then all the way down in Office Forms, we do have our CDA request form.
And that one is fillable.
Yes, this one is fillable.
You want to download that before you fill it because I don't think it saves it. You know, you always have to download it and then fill it.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't know that myself because I never fill this out. But this document, if you're unfamiliar with it, it does allow you to be paid directly at closing. So what you'll want to do with this document is fill it out to completion, preferably. Starting with the closing date, the title company name, closer name, and the closer email is very, very important. I need that to be able to send it over to the title company. Again, you want to fill in property address, seller name, your name, and then who you're representing, whether buyer or seller. For the gross commission, you only have to include your side. If you're the buyer's agent, only include your commission. You don't have to include the commission for the listing agent as well. For realtor credit, if you're giving part of your commission to your client, you'll want to include that amount here. And then if the transaction fee is paid by buyer or seller, the transaction fee here. A note that I would recommend is a lot of the times agents will put just the transaction fee here, $175. and I can tell who's paying it by who's checked off here. If the buyer and seller are both being checked off, could you please note who is paying the transaction fee here as well, just so that I know who to assign it to. Total due to FRI, this is technically supposed to be the full total. So if the gross commission is 10,000 and then the buyer is paying 175, this should say 10,175. However, the most important part is down here. Made payable to FRI is just going to be the transaction fee, 175 or 350. And then made payable to, you'll want to put the commission that you are receiving here and then your name here again. If nobody is paying if the buyer or seller is not paying the transaction fee and that's being deducted from your commission, a lot of times I get asked, how do you notate that? So if your commission here is 1,175, made payable here, you'll want to put 1,000 and then up here 175. So then I know that the transaction fee is being paid out of your commission. If there's any referral fees or whatnot going to another agent, you'll want to put the amount that's going to them here, as well as their brokerage name if they're an outside agent, and then the agent's name so that I can include that information on the executed DA.
Yes, very important, guys. You guys know the law. Don't put Bob Smith if Bob Smith is not an FRI agent. If Bob Smith is an FRI agent, then just put Bob Smith, FRI. But if Bob Smith is not an FRI agent, put Coldwell Banker, Bob Smith. Okay, and their Coldwell Banker's address. We're going to mail them a check, or the title company will. But typically, it's going to be, a lot of times it's going to be us, which we've got to figure that out. But please put the company name, the brokerage name, and their address so we can send it to them. We can't send it to, you guys know we can't pay Bob Smith. We've got to pay Coldwell Banker. Okay. Daniel, thank you for that, Michaela. That was great. Daniel.
So if I got, I'm working with Angie on a contract and we want to split the commission, where do I put it? Like, you know, half for me and half for her there.
You'll go ahead and do the same thing. So the portion that's going to Angie, you can put that amount here and then made payable to Angie Elstad. And then your part here, made payable to Daniel Vega.
Okay, so if it's a 2.5, I just have to do my numbers out here, or just put 2.5.
You'll no. Don't do percentages. Those are for dollars. Those are dollar signs.
Dollar sign.
Put dollar amount.
Dollar sign.
You guys figure it out. She'll match it against what's supposed to be there. But and if there's a problem, the title company will let us know. Say, hey, you know, they're only getting 10,000 in commission, not 100,000. So, you know, if there's something's wrong, the title company will let us know. But please make sure you do it right.
Do numbers.
And if you add all your numbers, they should match the gross commission, right? Yeah.
A gross commission plus
if you go backwards, once you distribute it all, then you go back and you total everything up and make sure it matches the
total due to FRI. It should match the total due to FRI, including fees paid by buyer or seller.
Yeah,
the total money that we have to disperse.
Yeah.
So that's stuff. And Michaela could not have explained it more beautifully. That was perfect. So Michaela, now I've got this form. It's all filled out. What do I do with it?
Please upload it to the transaction in Paperless Pipeline directly. That's the fastest way for me to see it, and then send it over to the title company. You'll also want to make sure that you have all of your required documents uploaded as well.
So you're not going to process this unless all my documents are in?
That's correct. And if anything is missing, I'll send you an email letting you know that the documents are missing. If it's just a couple, I typically list exactly what you need to upload, but you can always reference the checklist as well. If something is not fully executed or not uploaded at all, it won't be checked off the checklist yet.
Why can I not get my CDA if I don't have all my documents in?
Because we have to ensure that we have our documents, so we can't pay you yet. We have to make sure the file is in compliance.
I wouldn't just get my money and then just forget everything.
Unfortunately, it happens sometimes.
Oh, does it? Okay. Hey, Carolina, do you have a question?
Hi, sorry, my microphone was not, the settings were wrong. So I have, a couple months ago, we wanted to rent our own home, and I started, I put it on Paperless, pipeline to get the documents, and also I started on MLS even though I never went live. I just got the the MLS number. How do I remove everything? We decided not to do it.
I just can't. So but you did have a listing agreement between yourself and FRI.
I don't even think we did that.
Okay, so you started a file without how do you, what are you trying to get rid of?
So first and everything, what I started on MLS, and then after that, how do I remove the listing on Paperless pipeline? I
mean,
had never done it, so I might have made a mistake.
Well, you should. Yeah, you didn't need to do it unless you're going to go live on MLS. But Michaela, can you delete a transaction?
Yeah, if you just email me the address, I can go ahead and delete it.
Okay, and what do I have to do in MLS?
It never went live, right? It's just
No.
Incomplete.
Yes.
Nothing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. I think we've all had listings we started to put in, and then they got canceled before we ever got going on them, and so that's happened before. Any other questions for Michaela before we get going? So I just need to. So the CDI, I just need to upload it to the form and put commission. That's one of the pull downs, right? Is because commission disbursement request.
Yes.
And then you're gonna process that. Check all my numbers, process it, have the broker sign it, and send it to the title company and copy me.
That's correct.
Awesome.
I just want to add one more thing about this. For the realtor credit, sometimes the title company also requests a letter from the brokerage. If you're ever confused about that, you can email me and I can help create a commission contribution letter, whether it's you're contributing something to your buyer or it's your own property and you're contributing your commission to yourself. You can always email me and I can help get that letter for you.
That is awesome. So if I'm helping my son buy something, or if I'm buying my own house and I want to put the commission toward it, or it can even be a rental or a investment property for me, right? And I can put that toward. Now, do I still have to pay a transaction fee on one of my investment properties?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That's great. Those questions, you probably get those a lot about the commission contribution letter. What if I want to give money back to my client or to myself? And do I have to pay a transaction fee on an investment property? That's great. Awesome. Just so you guys know, I already knew the answer to that last question. Both of them, actually. We have about 100 to 150 of you guys who are just doing your own properties. So we cannot work for free for you. We have to charge you a transaction fee. It's not much of a fee. We have to charge it for these, or otherwise we'd be working for you for free forever. And we can't do that. So we do charge for those properties. Yes, Tammy and then Juliana.
So I get confused when you have, I guess, the buyer and the seller, both sides of the transaction. Is there two 175 fees or one 175 fee? It's a hard thing to put into words. One fee per agent per transaction. So if Tammy has a buyer and seller, Tammy only pays 175. Tammy's also on the expert closer program. So if you have any questions about that, you can email me later and we'll talk about that. Or I could just tell you now, it'd be easier. But so Tammy's at 1.5. So now if Tammy has one side and Wynn has the other side, they're both going to owe us the 175 or 350, whatever program they're on. Okay, that person is on. But if Tammy has both sides, she only pays 175. If Ann has both sides, she only pays 175 or 350, whatever program they're on. Okay, so the two programs are professional negotiator and expert closer. Those of you who've been here a long time, you know this already. But if you are, so the expert closer is $30 a month, and your fee goes from 350 to 175. Okay, so who does that make sense for? It makes sense for people doing a lot of volume, obviously, because they're going to be paying the fee more for other people. Anybody who pays the fee more than twice a year, I'll just go and do the math for you. If you pay the fee more than twice a year, it makes sense for you to do the 175. If you're never paying the fee and you're charging your 350 every time and you're happy about it and your clients are fine, then don't do the monthly fee. Okay, but if you're doing, obviously, your people who do their own investments are going to do they're always paying the fee.
so themselves, so they're going to do the 175, or people who are doing a lot of volume and find themselves being nice and doing the paying the fee for the client more than twice a year. That makes sense for them to do it. And the math for that, by the way, is $30 a month. It's $360 a year. It saves you $175 a transaction. So 2 transactions is $350. If it's more than 2, then it makes sense to do the $30 a month. If it's less than twice a year that you're paying the fee for other people or for yourself, then you just do the no monthly fee. There's no reason to do it if you're just charging everybody $350 and you're fine with it. Juliana.
Yes, the fee, does it up, or is it the same amount for rentals?
Great. No, we do not have a transaction fee for rentals. It's 10% instead. And that stops at your fee amount. So if you're on the 350 program, and that's same for referrals, 10%, and it's in your paperwork, just so you know. It's 10% for referrals or for rentals. And that 10% goes up to, so let's say you get a referral for $1,000. We don't take $350. We only take $100. Okay. Now let's say you get a referral fee for $10,000. We don't take $1,000. We only take $350. So we do, or whatever program. If you're on the 175, we only go to 175. So whatever program you're on, we limit it at that. And the reason for that is, and it's actually, this isn't even in your paperwork that we limit it, but we do. And the reason for that is sometimes you guys get a fee for $50. We're only going to take 10%. We're not going to take 350 of your, I'm sorry, not 50, $500. We're not going to take 350 of your 500, even on a regular transaction. So we do give you guys a break on all that. Any other questions? And this is just for Michaela. Any other questions? Let me know. Sandy. Okay, no question for Sandy. Any other questions for Michaela before we go? Michaela, do you have anything to add?
I don't, but just so everyone knows, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat for anybody who happens to not have it for whatever reason. I'm here 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You're always welcome to email me or give me a call if you have any questions about CDAs, paperless pipeline, or anything else.
Awesome.
So I'll put that in there.
I have one more question.
Yes.
So if we're going to communicate with Michaela, normally I kind of do it through the transaction. Is that the preferred way? You know, when you're in that transaction and you can email you through that transaction?
If it's about a specific transaction, sometimes that is the easiest way,
Okay.
just so that you don't have to type all of the subject line and whatnot out.
Okay.
But that's a good point that I would like to bring up because this is not showing the screen for some reason.
Did you open a new, you might have opened a new window.
Oh, I think it did actually. Okay.
There you
go. Okay. Just something I want to mention with that is if you, especially if you're replying to an email from me, please make sure that you always select my name. Otherwise, I don't get a notification that you sent me an email. So even if you're replying to an email from me from Paperless Pipeline, if you don't select my name here, it's just going to add the, it's just going to appear in the transaction as a note, and I don't actually see anything. So
when you reply, it comes into our regular email, and then I would probably reply from my email, but we really need to go back in the transaction and reply from the transaction.
You can either go back into the transaction, or when you reply, just include my email address in there as well.
Okay, like reply all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to say something. You guys have a lot of questions for me from time to time. Please don't respond. I hate to say this, don't be lazy and respond to my open forum emails. Please put an address or a subject of what you're asking about on there. It gets lost in my email when you do that. So please, always, anytime, just so you know, our company works by, and most of your colleagues in the industry work by addresses. And you know, your lenders are going to work by buyers' names typically, but your other agents are going to work by addresses. Please always put an address in the subject line. A lot of you guys ask me to look over your listing, and you just reply to today's open forum email. Put the subject in the subject line, the address that you're talking about. Otherwise I can't do it. And don't send me an MLS number. Send me an address. That's it. Sandy, you have a question?
I have a question for you in reference to listing that I used to have. The person, I had to put it off market because she was ill. And then she went into the hospital until February of this year. So I put cancel. Did I did correct, or I was supposed to, because she was not going to sell. She told me to put it on hold. And I'm not sure if I did that correctly. So I was asking for your opinion on that.
Okay, so she put it on when refresh my
The listing was in August 21st. Then she got ill and
How
I
long
had
was
to
the
put
listing
it
for?
off
6 months?
market.
It was for 6 months.
Yes, I think, or
So it it should have expired by now anyway.
yeah, well, I closed it because it was no, I had it almost for a year. It was a person that I know personally, so she was okay with that. It was off market for all those months. So by February, she got out of the hospital and I got a cancellation because she told me to put it on hold. And, you know, I'm not sure when she's going to be able to show the property or anything because she's ill, period.
Okay, but she asked you to take it to
Yeah,
she
to
put it on
cancel it.
hold, but it sounded like, okay, she asked you to cancel it. That's fine.
Okay.
It sounds like it would have expired by now anyway if it's 6 months starting in August.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I did it correctly.
Yeah, you did fine. You
Okay,
did fine.
thanks.
There's that I think that listing is dead for 2 reasons, so that's fine. Any other questions before we go? Before Michaela goes, Michaela, this has been absolutely fantastic. You guys, I don't brag about Michaela enough. She is absolutely wonderful. She is fantastic at what she does. I don't think I have ever gotten a complaint from any of you guys about Michaela, and that is remarkable. As much as you guys have done it, and she's been here a year and a half now, almost.
Yeah.
Is that about right? Yeah, and she's incredible. So I really appreciate it. She is quite an asset to us. So thank you very much for coming in, Michaela. And you've done a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye. Any other questions now? You guys have been, we've been having a lot of like little issues about things and some things I want to clear up. I was going to make this about something else. I'm glad I did Paperless Pipeline. Obviously, we had an hour's worth of questions about that, which is fantastic. So we'll probably cover some of these other things next week. We've had a lot of questions about from things all the way from the offer to the close that you guys have been having some issues with. Yvonne, first of all, welcome, Yvonne, and you have a question for us.
Yes, can you hear me?
You can now, yes.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My question is, before my internet goes out again because it's acting, do we have recording videos? I think I saw that we are able to see recording somewhere.
You're cutting out a little bit again. Yes, we record all these and they are on YouTube. You should have gotten your welcome email. You should have gotten a YouTube link. All of these recordings, at least like the last 6 or 8 months or something, are on that one. And we have an older YouTube link. If you ever want to see that, just ask Michelle. Michelle's our marketing coordinator. You just met Michaela. Michelle's our marketing coordinator. She's great too. I'll put her thing. That was in your welcome email too, her information, but I'm going to put it in here.
All right,
Michelle
thank
Machado.
you.
And
Is Michelle Machado?
yes.
Mhm.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
going to put her email in here and she will send you whatever links you need for that as well. Okay, Tammy.
Can I ask a random question? We're on the question section, right?
Yes, you're asking
Okay.
what kind of question?
Random.
Yes.
I have a listing and I have this agent and the buyers, they want everything. So we just had the inspection. It's VA. Do you know if a VA appraiser would call out a non-working garbage disposal, a non-working dishwasher, like a missing screen on the pool, the pool over cage, like a little missing screen. Do you know if VA would do anything on the year of the hot water heater, or if that's mostly just insurance?
VA is going to have a problem with the hot water heater. I don't know about the other two. VA is looking for, VA and FHA government inspections are looking for livability. It's got to be completely livable and completely, nothing that greatly affects that's general repair stuff, not cosmetic stuff. I don't know about the little things that you mentioned, the dishwasher and all that stuff, if that affects livability. I mean, if it affects it, but it doesn't.
My dilemma is if we make an agreement to give them cash, a credit, seller credit, and then we have the appraisal done, and then the appraisers citing these things that we need to spend money on.
You have a new addendum. You would have a new addendum in that case. You're not going to get. Are you worried you're going to get caught for both? Like giving a
especially with this buyer, I feel like we would. But yeah.
No, and there's ways to word that. If you want to get together on that, maybe we can. But we're gonna, we're crediting you this much for this, and this much for this, and this much for this, and this much for this. If any of those items we have to make the repairs, then that comes off the list.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. But just make it clear like that on the addendum. And then because you're going to need another addendum before you make the repair. In that case, say we're lowering by this much per our previous addendum, right? So that's what you would do. Hello, everyone. What do you think are the best practices for price reduction after the home inspection? It is a cash deal. Just a price reduction. Just change the price. It's a cash deal. If it were a finance deal, it's a little bit different, but just a cash deal, just change the price. Yes, by addendum. All right. Malvis.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. I also have a random question like Tammy. So I have a listing that is under contract, but I received a cancellation today. So it's falling apart. But my question is, during this in-home inspection, a couple of things came up. The sellers already addressed one of them, is already taken care of. The other ones will most likely be taken care of too, but they're also like cosmetic stuff. Is it the best course of action in this case is to pull the home off the market, take care of those items before the house goes back active again?
It really depends on what the items are. If they are aesthetic things that are not, if they're aesthetic, let me just cover this. If they're aesthetic things that are not material to the value of the home, like there's scratches on the wall or something like that, then you don't have to disclose, and you can probably fix them while the house is on the market. If they're important things that are material to the house, you have to either disclose, or you're better off in that case taking it off the market and fixing them.
Okay, so one of them is like the coil of the AC that needed to be cleaned. There was mildew in the air handler that needed to be clean. So is that something that if the sellers are willing to take care of, we could do while pulling the house out of the market, or can they offer a credit towards that? I'm just trying to gather ideas of what would be the best course of action, because this is falling apart and I'm trying to fix it.
I always like it then, but if you know that, there's no reason to take it off the market. Just get it done, but you'll get it done before you get another contract and another inspection if you're just going to clean the coils and clean out the mildew. If they don't want to do anything to it, which is perfectly fine that they don't want to, then you just wait till the next inspection and give them a thing if they complain. I would just, those aren't things that everybody's going to notice or complain or ask for a reduction for. So I would just ride with it. If the seller is willing to make the repairs, have them make the repairs. But there's no reason to take it off the market. They can clean the coils while the property's on the market. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yes. I'm sorry, I have another one. So
Yes.
if my husband owns an air conditioning company, is it okay if
Mhm.
he does the job for the seller, if the sellers agree, or do they have to go with another company, or what?
They do not have to go with another company, but you better disclose in writing that this is my husband. I can have my husband come take a look at it,
Sorry,
kind of thing.
hear-
You better disclose that. But of course they can use your husband, but just don't don't give them room to come back and complain and say, I didn't know it was her husband that came out here, you know? So just disclose that it's your husband and have him take a look at it and make sure he does it very above board, very much before he touches it. He tells them exactly how much it'll cost, etc.
Okay, but he can offer the job to get done, and I know it'll get done well.
Okay, I believe you, but just yes, he can. Just make sure they know it's your husband.
Okay, I will. Thank you, Ryan.
You bet. And not by phone. Make sure they know in writing that it's your husband.
Yes, but my husband went with me to the listing appointment, and they met him. So they know him. But yes, of course.
Yes. My husband, who you met, is an AC professional. He'll take a look at it for you and give you a quote.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Just I want it in writing though, if I were you.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, guys? And I want to cover that real quickly, and we'll get to you, Caroline, in just a second. I will cover that real quickly, guys. Just a reminder: anybody that you're recommending for any service, tell them, especially if it's your husband or cousin or best friend or anything, make sure you give them a couple of options. Let them choose, and disclose. Carolina.
Okay, you didn't say where I was calling from. Do you
Are you in
get that
Claremont,
on your screen?
Are you in Claremont? I can get it. I don't get that on my screen. Are you in Claremont?
No.
Where are you?
In Boston. Okay. Well, anyways, I'm not calling about I didn't raise my hand for that, but I wanted to know what people's thoughts are on the market, if the interest rates are better, if they're getting more, if their homes that they're listing are going under contract pretty quickly, or if it's 30 days or more. I just put a house on the market and I've gotten several cash offers from investors. Of course, they're low balls and the seller's not interested. But other than that, it's just been really slow. And my thought on my listing, I think it's a little bit overpriced, but they wanted to list it for that. And I've been getting that recently. So I want to sell it. So any feedback from people, if they're having a hard time or if they're getting listings under contract over market value.
What price point is it?
It's 410, 410, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It's actually, this house is like so meticulous. It's crazy.
What's
It's
the
so
RVM
nice.
say? The real estate value, if you click that button, what does it say it's worth on that?
I think it was $399 or something like that.
Yeah, you're not that far off.
Yeah, but I also seen 390, 395. So we'll see. No activity though. So I was gonna make a recommendation to lower it, her every week or every couple of weeks, and do a couple of open houses, what I normally do, and then go from there. And if it doesn't move, then like Ryan says, it's too high. So yeah,
Yeah, if you're not getting showings, it's listed too high. If it's showing and not getting contracts, it's not showing well. That's a typical rule. So if you're not getting any action, rates have not dropped significantly yet. Nothing's going crazy here. They said new home sales are up a little bit, but I don't see any activity, excitement because of the rates yet. I'm telling you guys, when they drop, it's going to be great. But for now, they're just kind of holding steady. So the buyers aren't going crazy, sellers aren't going crazy. Nobody wants to leave. They're 3% mortgage to a 7% mortgage. So everybody's just kind of holding still, except for the beauty of us being in Florida and people want to move here. Any other questions before we go? All right. Well, I do want to welcome Yvonne, Tina, a couple of other new ones. Tina Wynn. Hi, Tina. Hi, Yvonne. And we have a couple other new ones. I can't see everybody right now, but thank you all for coming in. And we'll see you next week. We're going to go over some more contract stuff. If you guys have any other questions you want to go over next week in the meantime, let me know and we'll hit them up. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great week.